What's up guys? Today I'm going to be smashing a blue belt, my friend and student Justin. So we start off, Justin has grips on me, I don't want that, so I break the grips with two hands. One hand would have been too difficult. I have Justin's arm across my body, so I start working to get an angle on him. I'm trying to get behind or beside Justin using the belt grip. Justin does a good job of stopping me by circling with me as I circle. Justin is trying to grab his single leg, but I counter by looping my left hand through and grabbing his wrist. Because he kept his other hand committed to my leg, it gave me the opportunity to trap it, so I do, and I roll over my side and put him into the crucifix. I switch the angle of my hips by shrimping out so I can get a better angle for the armbar. I get the tap from the crucifix armbar, which is one of my favorites. Alright guys, I've been super busy with my gym finally reopening. I'll probably do one more rolling commentary before making another technique guide, just because it's quicker, but I know many of you like these anyways. Let me know if you do, and if you want to see another gi commentary or a no gi one next. Also, what belt level you like to see me roll against. So we're grip fighting here, and I go for like a fake guard pull, and then I figure, well, I just might as well just pull guard. I try to go for a balloon sweep, but Justin does a good job of stopping me. He bases out with his foot, and now we kind of transition to half guard. Right away, I feel Justin's weight is very far on my left side, so I do a nice little John Wayne sweep, which is one of my favorites. Justin is really good at keeping your leg in half guard. He's got like a death grip on my leg, so I go for a hip turn pass, but it's not quite working. So instead I come right back up and try to bring his knees to the other side, maybe go for like some smash passing, but that doesn't seem to work either. So I go right back to the hip turn and figure maybe this time I can get a little bit further with my butt and get my knee out this time. I still feel like I'm gonna have a really hard time getting my ankle out, so I kind of like bait him to try to roll me over by leaning over to my side, but he doesn't take the bait. He keeps that death grip on me, and now we're here kind of like a 3/4 mount or quarter guard, depending on your perspective, which way you look at it. Getting my ankle out is going to be a lot of work, so I figure might as well keep it in there and go for a rolling back attack. Justin does a really good job of flattening himself out and keeping his hips heavy. I want to raise his hips into the air so I can get an angle and get underneath Justin. I feel like that's going to be too much work, so instead I pry my foot out with my left foot and shoot my legs over to the other side into side control. I always have options. It sure is nice being a black belt. Justin tries to bump and shrimp to get out, but he raises his hips a little too high and I catch his hip with my left hand. I put one hook in at a time and work to get my seatbelt grip on Justin. I think about going for a body triangle, but it's way harder for me to do in the gi. No gi is a lot easier. I think about trapping his arm with my leg, which I normally always do before going for a choke. I realize he's not defending his neck great anyways, so I start feeding his lapel with one hand to the other to get the grip tighter. I want to get a 90-degree angle on Justin, like the same angle as an armbar, so I take a hook out from underneath him, grab his pants and work to finish with his modified bow and arrow, pushing my knees into him and pulling the grips with my hands closer to me. So we start off with another two-handed grip break, and Justin's doing a really good job of controlling my grips. He's been watching my videos like the good student he is, and I'm having a hard time getting dominant grips. It proves not to matter anyways because Justin just pulls guard. Pulling guard shouldn't be shamed like it is. Like, I love wrestling, I love judo, but sometimes I don't want to work that hard and I just pull guard. And you know, a lot of people gotta work the next day, so takedowns aren't always the best option. So from here, I step over the leg because that leg, that hook, that can do things to me, right? So I want to kill that hook. If I can get Justin's knees to my right, I would go for the side smash, but instead I go to my left and go knee slide. I put my head on the mat for base so I can tripod. I'll have to make a video on that system soon. I love going side smash one way and knee slide the other way. So I use my foot to pry my other foot out and I go right to the mount. In a tournament, this would be 7 points because you get 3 points for the guard pass and 4 for the mount. In mounts, a good way to create openings is to grab the collar. This will threaten the cross collar choke and normally force a reaction. With the grip, I lift up on Justin and make room for my knee to slide underneath his head. Because I don't have my leg over his head right now, I need to grab his leg. They both do the same thing. They prevent your opponent from turning into you. People always say put the leg over the head before you go for an armbar, but that's not true. You can also grab the leg. I do it all the time. And now that I have my leg over Justin's head, I can let go of the grip on his leg and start working to break the grips. Instead, I go for bicep slicer because that's more fun. Just a reminder, from any position or submission, be very careful as you exit. Look how I shrimp it away and make sure I don't kind of land on Justin's face or anything like that and hurt him. If you guys could let me know what country or what state you're watching from, I find that very interesting and I really appreciate it. So Justin looks like he's getting a little frustrated, like he really wants that takedown. So we start working for some grips. He gets the underhook on me and he goes for that hip throw. But what do? I turn my hips the other way and I outbalance him. And now I want to move my hips out of the way to get better base. We're in a pretty similar position, but I win this battle and I control his hips as I start to come up to a side control. Not much is really happening here. I'm kind of just seeing what I have available to me and I'm kind of keeping some space, letting Justin kind of move around a little bit. I like to react to what other people do rather than try to smash and force things. I like to let my opponent create the openings. That's just my style, and it looks like I let Justin have a little too much space and he centers back up, re-guards. Now I'm messing around a little too much. I have no grips with my right hand, and because of that, Justin has the space and ability to go for his baby bolo. I know he needs to grab my left leg to go for that back take, so I slide it out and pop my right leg over to get rid of that hook. And now I start going for a guillotine, but I realize that that's not going to be the best option, so I start wrestling him down and going right to that knee slide position, again with my head on the mat, tripoding, and using my other foot as a wedge to get my ankle out. I definitely could have went to mount here, but I'm kind of messing around still and kind of seeing what I can make happen. I lose that opportunity for mount, so I just go to side control. I start giving Justin a little bit of space, but then I remember what happened when I gave him too much space, and I start controlling his hips a little better this time and flattening him onto the mat. I shoot my leg over his arm to break that grip on my pants. Now that I have his arm stapled, I'm in a really good position. Stapling means my knee is on one side of his arm and my foot is on the other side. And now I can start working for like Americana, straight arm lock, but I realize that's going to be too much work. I don't want to really work too hard. I prefer to go for the arm bar. So I go for the far side arm bar where I spin around. Now all that's left to do is just to break the grip he has that prevents me from straightening his arm. There are a ton of different armbar grip breaks and I'm probably going to make a video on all of them very soon. This time I just bring my leg over his arm to break it, and then now I go for my armbar. Alright, as always, thank you for sticking around to the end of the video. I appreciate it so much. If you're hearing my voice right now, make sure to leave a comment or a fist bump. It really helps the algorithm, it makes me happy, and it really helps the channel.